Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at 284 Media, we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values are still the same. Gentlemen, aspiring gentlemen, and of course, our partners that hold us down. Welcome back to Season 6 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. And no, it's not always about suits and bow ties, but instead real-life conversations and lessons that truly translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. Thank you all for taking this amazing journey with me. We are in Season 6, and I'm honored to be featuring a young man that I have grown to know personally, one of the best and brightest, extremely talented. You know him as Sheldon Frett, an actor, producer, writer, someone who has cemented his name in not only Virgin Islands history, but on the international stage as being someone who truly takes his craft seriously. We got a lot to talk about, of course, how he got into acting, and the fact that he remains humble and keeps very close to his rich history and heritage of being a proud Virgin Islander. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Viewers, welcome back and thank you so much for sticking with us. As promised, you are watching Season 6 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, and I'm here with my friend, the good brother, Sheldon Frett. Welcome home and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, man. First of all, congrats on 6 seasons.
Thank you.
You know, lots of shows don't make it past the first season. You know, some shows don't even get picked up after the pilot. So
thank you very much.
6 seasons is great, man. Cheers to that.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. As I mentioned, you were an actor, producer, writer. One of the best to try to do it and then still get to do it.
Yeah.
What got you into acting and the creative space in the first of all?
So the creative space of acting was never on the horizon. You know, at this point in my life, I don't regret it being late. I started acting late only because being born and raised here in Tortola, you know, at that time when I wanted to embark on the artistic path, it was all business, science, or you got to be able to work with your hands. So, you know, I studied business first, which made it beneficial for my acting now.
Okay.
But then when I look at my peers and some of my counterparts who's had already like 10 to 20 years in and were the same age, I'm like, they had a different opportunity. But for me, the thing that got me into it, believe it or not, man, was, you know, I don't know if I should be giving them PR, but hey, it was the Wayne brothers. So I watched that show growing up. So it's about a show of 2 brothers, Marlon and Sean. Sean is the older brother, has everything together, and Marlon is the little brother who's always, you know, messing up, for search of a better word. And then I would watch it at home, and then my brother, my real brother's name is Sean. So then I had every shoes that Marlon would wear on the episode, all the clothes, and every night after that show, I would go to high school the next day wearing exactly what Marlon wore. So that was my first inch of, hey, maybe I could do this. This is my life. So I actually saw myself. So I think for viewers watching, representation matters. So had I not seen that show, The Wayne Brothers with Sean and Marlon, I probably wouldn't have wanted to be an actor. And had his name not been Sean and my brother's name being Sean, probably wouldn't be here right now.
I'm happy that you mentioned representation.
It matters.
Because when it's all said and done, and I can only say from actually knowing this, we watch your work and we see you progress. Sheldon Frett.
It's a brand name.
Is now
Blue Magic.
One that we all look to and we follow the journey.
Nice.
What does it mean for you to be a Virgin Islander that is doing it so that young men watching this show could have somebody that's relatable, someone that looks like them, sounds like them, and is from where they're from?
Truthfully, it's humbling. It's also to much is given, much is required. And I didn't have someone to look up to from the Virgin Islands who was an actor. So it was a solo journey. So knowing that they have someone who they can look up to, or Sheldon Frett being a name that they can see in themselves, like, hey, he did it, so can I. It's actually rewarding in the sense of my cup is filled. You know, I've been pouring all my life. You know, I give a lot. And to know that there's someone out there watching me and thinking, hey, that could be me. The little Marlon, when I was watching him, knowing that, you know what, this is someone that I can look up to, and he's actually from where I'm from, it's really rewarding, man. It really fills my cup, and I don't take it lightly. It's a challenge, but it also motivates me to keep going because it's tough. And there's times where I feel like quitting.
And we're going to talk about those times, but I want to go back to the fact that being from the Virgin Islands, and I'll tell you why. You mentioned earlier that when you were embarking on studies, it was business, science, law, that kind of stuff. And when I decided to go to San Francisco to study film and television, I had someone tell me, find something else to do. You're not going to make any money. You're going to be frustrated.
Correct.
You could try economics. You could try law. There's so much you could do. But this TV thing, this was the words. This TV thing, it don't make no sense.
Ain't gonna walk out.
Right?
How you pay the bill?
Being as defiant as I was and still can be, I went to school and I studied exactly what I was told not to study.
Good.
Okay? My point is, what do you say to the young creative, whether it be film and television, journalism, who is being sidetracked into thinking that their dreams are too big and that because they're from a small island that they should just find something else to do?
Easy. This is me right here. To the film creatives, anyone who is being told that they can't do it, I just want them to hear this. There's a dash between the day we were born and the day we die. On my tombstone, hopefully, I'll put it in my will. I want there to be a day I was born, and in the middle, Sheldon lived the life that he wanted to live. And then my closing date. So I want for every inspiring artist chasing their dreams, following their passion, being told no, that they could do whatever they want to do. And they have the power to do it because people are going to put their fears on us. I've had fears put on me all the time. You know, acting doesn't exist. How are you going to pay the bills? What's the outcome? And I'm like, well, what's the outcome if I work a 9 to 5? I get a check, but am I happy? So for me, talking to anybody that's listening, anyone that's following, anyone that has a dream, be happy. And the only way to be happy is to follow your thoughts, your patterns, and then pave your own way. Why fit in?
Beautifully said.
Why fit in?
Yeah. You spoke about it not being an easy road, and like anything else, there are challenges. I want to recap that. What have some of the challenges been like for you in the industry?
In the industry, I'll say the first challenge was being a BVI lander. So not having a mentor. That's been one of the biggest challenges, not having a mentor, because there's so much nepotism in the entertainment industry. Rightfully so. You know, in the future, if I have kids, you know, my family, my friends, you know, when I'm there in that position, it'll be my job to supply jobs to local British Virgin Islanders or people that I trust. But for me, the biggest challenge was having a mentor, trying to figure it out. Like, hey, I don't know this. Can you guide me? And then beyond having a mentor was the gatekeepers. Gatekeepers locally, right here in the British Virgin Islands, that still live. Oh, you know, I'm always off the record. You know, and the gatekeepers that are in the British Virgin Islands, it starts with hey, I would like to do that thing you're doing. And then they get, oh no, you can't do this thing better than I'm doing it, so I won't help you. Versus the mindset that I'm from, if you want to do what I'm doing, I'll give you all the resources. Because when I think of, and I don't want to call any different races, but when I think of the Jews, they all live in the same community. When I think of the Asians, they all live in the same community. But when I think of my people, it's always, hey, I gotta have this, and you can't have anything close to this because you're a competition. And the way I was raised, it's, if I help you, I'm in a better chance to survive because there might be a time where you might turn around and help me. And together, we'll go further.
I agree.
Alone,
you can be good to
yeah,
some, but not better than them.
not better. Why? I tell all my students anytime I'm teaching or anytime I'm doing workshops, I want you to be better than me because it makes me feel good. You know, what's for me is for me. And that's the thing that we didn't learn here. And I'll speak on this really quickly. The thing that we didn't learn about gatekeeping is what's for me is for me. No matter how much I give you, no matter how much is received, I'm still going to get my blessings. No matter how much you learn, no matter how much you excel, it is not going to stop what was supposed to happen for me. I believe in Maktub. It was written. So all of these things that we're going through, it was already done. It was already written. So it's like, I'm blessed too.
Definitely.
I'm double blessed.
You
I got
are.
2 crosses on, man. I'm double blessed. So whatever is for me is always going to be for me. And there's nothing anyone can do that will stop that or interrupt it.
Understood.
Yeah.
You mentioned about earlier when you do have a family.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got some amazing fans. They often ask me, where do you find these candidates? Where do you find these guys? And I'm like, they're from here, them right here.
Yeah.
And they're like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, they're from
I'm
here.
from right here, born and raised. I grew up major bit East End.
So for the fans that are watching, the lovely young ladies of the Virgin Islands in the region who are watching,
Aha.
do you intend on perhaps having a family one day? And what if you are? What are you looking for in a woman?
I do want to have a family. I think at this point in my career now, the thing that stopped that before was my pursuit of success. And I've lost great relationships, and I'll be honest, I'll be transparent. I've lost great relationships because at that time in my life, I put women second to my career, which was first, only because I grew up in a household where my dad was a provider. Now, without going into more details on my dad, there's just some things that I may have learned that weren't beneficial to relationships because, you know, at some points it was like, you're providing, but what about being there? So I didn't know that it probably had affected me until...
The presence or the lack thereof.
Correct. So for me, I chose career first because I wanted to be a provider. I wanted the woman in my life to have everything taken care of. And then, you know, if she wants to do whatever she can, we have the access to do it. Now in my career, a lot more financially stable, a lot more disciplined. You know, now I can start bridging that because I'm looking for a family that I can share this with now. You know, those hard days, I want to come home to a wife and say, hey, today was just one of those days. I don't want to talk. I just want to lay in your lap and get my head rubbed. So I'm actually looking for someone who's nurturing, who reminds me of the pillars that I grew up with, my mom and my sister, strong Black women who understood that taking care of their family were important. You know, I had a talk with my mom right after graduating London Academy of Music, Dramatic Arts out in London, and it was my first year of therapy. And we had this amazing talk, and I was just curious of, you know, why was your life the way it was? And she looked me in the eyes and she said, my life was extremely beautiful because I did what I wanted to do, and I was raised 3 children.
Wow.
And I didn't understand that as a kid growing up, the sacrifices my mom made to make sure my sister, my brother, and myself were well taken care of. Education, responsibilities, and all the things that she instilled in us. So For me, looking right now, man, I need a lady who understands my hybrid life. You know, I'm from the Virgin Islands. I have Caribbean roots. I live in Los Angeles, Hollywood. It can be a big, scary place. But I want somebody who can bridge that for me, who makes work feel like a job so that way I can come home to my life.
Beautiful.
I don't want my career to consume my life anymore.
I got you.
Yeah.
You use the term hybrid, which is very well articulated.
That's me.
It's true. When you look at your hybrid life, what are some of the things that you really, really love and appreciate about being a Virgin Islander?
The values that are instilled in us as Virgin Islands men, well, Virgin Islands people, the culture. I mean, not a knock against America, but in LA, sometimes there's a lack of culture, you know, and I hope they don't kick me out of LA. I'm just voicing my opinion, but the culture of the British Virgin Islands people, it's like, it's a community, the food, the things that identify us. You know, those identifying factors are the things that make me proud. You know, I still got my accent and I could use it whenever I want. And it just feels good to know that back in the day, it wasn't cool to be an immigrant. You know, being in America, it wasn't cool to be an immigrant. And now, like, it's so much embracing the wall, and people want to understand what carnival is, and understand what, you know, the costumes mean to us, and understand what emancipation and all these things that we come from, understanding what a local dish mean. And for me, those values that I was born and raised with, and I saw culturally with the people around me, is the one thing that I'm proud of.
Beautiful. Speaking of rich cultural heritage, is there a favorite? What's your favorite Virgin Islands cuisine dish?
But this one gonna be so bad. I really like a Johnny cake, you know.
That's not bad at all. That's good.
I know, but it's the plainest thing.
No,
I really like a Johnny cake because I can't really get Johnny cake anywhere else.
Gotcha.
I'm in love with Johnny cake. Johnny cake. I can stick with Johnny cake.
That's fine with me.
A Johnny cake is my favorite thing, you know. I could get anything. I could get plantain in America and New York. I could get curry chicken.
But
I could
not
get
a Johnny cake.
I could get roti. I could get all kind of thing, but I can't get a Johnny cake. Nowhere to get Johnny cake except for Tatola.
Beautiful.
That's the only thing I can't get anywhere else in the world.
Do you have a favorite Virgin Islands drink? Could be alcoholic or non-alcoholic.
Yeah, fruit punch lemonade mix.
Interesting.
That's it.
I've heard that before, but
Fruit
actually
punch
never tried.
lemonade mix. I grew up on that.
Okay.
You have to have fruit punch, you got to have lemonade. And I want it to half and half that.
Interesting.
Fruit punch lemonade mix is my favorite.
Do you have a favorite sister island?
Favorite sister island. Favorite sister island. I spent a lot of time in VG when I was growing up, Virgin Gorda, just for the bats.
Okay.
Now I spend a lot of time on Mosquito, just for the environment. But I wouldn't say I have a favorite, but I do love going to the bats.
Fair enough.
I love going to the bats. So if we had the bats on Tatola, it would be my favorite. But no, I love the bats.
If we had the bats on Mosquito.
On Mosquito,
Yeah,
same thing, you know.
Fair enough.
So yeah, the bats. The
Got
bats
you.
is my favorite. It just happened to be on Virgin Gorda.
If
Yeah.
you could take someone from Virgin Islands yesteryear, that just simply means that they're no longer with us, but a Virgin Islander.
Okay.
You take them to breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
That's no longer with us?
Yes, and you have one chance to have a conversation with them. Who would that person be and why?
It's a great question. Who's no longer with us? I think he's still here. You know, my grandmother, Ruth Garden,
Okay.
I would love to talk to her a lot more. Because there's such a heritage line that was passed down to my father, Betito Frett. And I always wondered, I was too young to understand my dad. And I know he had such love for his mother. And I was always away, and I didn't get to my maturity level in time to have a conversation with her. And for me, there's so much history and so much that I could have learned from her that I didn't, not because I was defiant, but because I wasn't ready. I didn't have the maturity, I didn't have the skill set, I didn't have the mindset, I didn't have the emotional intelligence. So, rest in peace to my grandmother. I would
Great choice.
I would try to sit with her because I really want to know how her life was, then how my dad's life was, so that way I could start to understand how I am. I would choose her.
Wonderful choice. Wonderful choice.
One of my favorite people, though, still alive, is oh man, what they named the BVI high school now? Elmore Stout High School.
Elmore Stout High School. Yes.
While he's alive, man, I would love to sit down with Elmore Stout. I think that guy was a brilliant human being, and I didn't have the chance to sit with him, but I'm happy he's still here. So.
And you have an opportunity now. What would you say to him?
Mr. Stout, I really want to thank you for what you did in the BVI community. I don't know if you're getting your flowers while you can smell them, but
wow.
I want to give you your flowers. What you did at the BVI High School, now Elmore Stout High School, rightfully so deserving of the name. I saw a lot of things that I wasn't able to process at that time. And then now that I'm away and my maturity level has risen, my emotional intelligence has risen, I really want to thank you for what you did to the community, to the education system, and to me as a human being. I mean, there was so many times where I was teetering because my mom was an educator, so she was very disciplined, and my dad was a businessman, so I came from a disciplined household, so rebellion was always a thing, and I was the last child. But as I call him Stouty always used to, Mr. Frett, what are you doing? Your mother is an educator, and this is not what you, and he really poured into me. And I wasn't able to receive it then. But now, thinking back on my life, I could receive it. So I just want to thank you, Mr. Elmore Stout. Now the name of the British Virgin Islands high school that I went to. So I want to sit with him. I would love to sit with him.
Will you still have the opportunity?
Beautiful.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you had an opportunity and a moment to say that.
Yeah, I hope he gets his flowers. I don't know if he's getting his flowers right now. I don't know if people understand the impact that he had on the British Virgin Islands. So I just hope wherever he is right now, he's getting his flowers.
Amazing. And thank you for giving him in your own way his flowers.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Indeed. Viewers, we are chopping it up with the man himself, the one and only Sheldon Frett.
Yeah.
As you can hear, the wisdom that keeps on giving. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services. One-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals. Welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. As promised, we are here with the one and only Sheldon Frett. I want to talk a little bit about some of the projects that you've been working on.
Okay.
I know you had the amazing opportunity to work next to a queen in her rightful element.
Academy Award winner now.
Viola Davis for Get On Up, the biopic for the man himself.
Rest in peace.
James Brown.
Chadwick Boseman played
of course,
that
he was
beautiful
also
character
on that screen list. What has it been like working with such iconic persons? How has that impacted your career?
So that's been the best part of my journey. That was my first job,
Okay.
first professional acting gig. And because it was such a high caliber, high standard project, I had two options as a young actor coming up. I could have chosen to be arrogant and cocky because it's like, yo, my first gig, I'm with Viola Davis and the late Chadwick Boseman, I'm the man. Or I could have chosen to, well, these people are phenomenal. Let me see what I can learn from them. And let me see how I can use that to transcend my career. And that's the choice I took. The more interested, curious, willing to learn approach. And because I got so much from them, so much value from them, I think my 10-year span has been extremely rewarding. So, I mean, don't get it twisted. Starting with Viola and Chadwick probably
So that's a high place to start.
yeah, it catapults your career. You know, your first screen time in Hollywood is never usually with such big stars. But I also did the training before I got to that point. So I was working as an actor in class, where I think you should always be if you want to be great. So because of that, my anniversary for that is August 1st, 2024. So I am 9 and a couple months in. They say it takes 10 years to be good and 20 years to be great. So I am a few months away from being good. I'm a few months away from being a good actor. So for my 10-year anniversary, a decade into the industry, wow, that flew by. Almost there. For a decade into the industry, I'll share some insight, man. I am working on my Oscar piece right now.
Beautiful.
I graduated from grad school.
Love the manifestation, by the way.
Oh,
Continue.
it's happening. It's happening. I'm working on my Oscar piece right now. You know, I can control the nominations, but I can't control the wins. So I'm working on my Oscar piece right now. I bought the rights to a play.
Okay.
I use my business side. That's why I'm so grateful for all the things that happen. Because I know a lot of artists, they don't really know it's called show business. I'm classically trained, so I have the work ethic, but I also have the business side. So I bought the rights to a play. I adapted it into a screenplay, which is my first writing credit.
Okay.
And right now, probably so close, when I get back to LA, we're going to be rounding up the deals, but I won't say who. Just know there are some big studios interested in the screenplay. And I mean, think about what that does for the British Virgin Islands.
Of course.
You know, a screenplay from a local British Virgin Islander has made it successful in Hollywood. I'm talking Hollywood, not YouTube or not, you know, it's like we're going for the studio route. So some huge studios are interested right now. So this will be credited as my first writing credit, which is major in Hollywood. You don't get these opportunities that I am having right now without years of hitting the pavement. So writing credit, my first producing credit on a feature that's going to be internationally, globally known, and my first lead role, I'm starring in it. And it is
triple threat.
It is a doozy. And I'm truly excited about that because from my 10-year mark, starting with Viola Davis and working throughout these 9 years, couple months into my anniversary for my first screen time on the big screen, I will actually be leading my first film, and it's a film
Congratulations.
Thank you, sincerely. It's a film that I wanted to do. The reason that I embarked on this journey was because of the knowledge I learned from Viola and the late Chadwick of writing what we want to see. what do we want to see on camera? What are the things that I wanted to be a part of? And for me, it's going to be my breakout role.
Gotcha.
So my breakout role had to be something that I wanted to be, and I won't talk too much about the story, but just know it's a very controversial story. And it's one of those things where I won't spoil it, just look out for the name. It's called Careless Love.
Careless Love.
Careless Love. What a beautiful title.
Yeah. Congratulations on that. And I personally, I look forward to seeing the fruits of your hard work.
You'll be the first to know when.
Appreciate it.
You'll be at the premiere. You'll get your invitation. You know, I'll fly you out to Los Angeles. You'll hit the red carpet. I mean, you're always dressed for the red carpet. Every time I see you, you're dressed for the red carpet. So you'll be there. It's going to be huge. And for me, I think that's the pillar of my acting career, being a British Virgin Islander and finally bridging that gap of our local people not supporting the arts. And if I have to be the guinea pig to make that change, I don't think the change will happen in my lifetime, but I'm gonna keep instilling that. So when I am dead and gone, we have that legacy of, okay, we can go to the British Virgin Islands to shoot major Hollywood films because Sheldon was a kid from there, made this Hollywood movie, won all these Oscars, and just the way they treat Sidney Poitier's hometown in the Bahamas, you know, hopefully they'll treat Sheldon Frett's hometown that way.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for your gift that you are very willing to share with the rest of the world. Of course, it's a very vulnerable space, but your ability to always answer the phone, enter a message, and then not only that, but be willing enough to take time off to come back and impart that wisdom and that knowledge into the next generation of greatness is one that should not be taken for granted.
I appreciate that.
We appreciate you and we salute you as a distinguished gentleman in our 21st century era.
Yeah.
Keep doing the damn thing, and we are so proud of you. And
thank you, man. Thank you for this.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Cheers, man, to many more conversations.
Absolutely. Viewers, you heard it here first. The one and only, the phenomenal Sheldon Frett, our very own, spitting it up and spitting some wisdom on Season 6, The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. I will see you next week.
Congratulations on 6 seasons.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
You deserve your flowers as well.